Now on to Florida Tech, and we welcome back in Argonaut head coach Pete Shinnick. Well, let's talk about Florida Tech. And one of the things, I want to go back for just a minute to talk about the Valdosta State game again. I think one of the strengths of this team this year is the turnover margin. You guys went in +3. Obviously, Valdosta State had turned the ball over a lot. Ended up -2 in that game, and there were 2 key turnovers. Would you say that's a problem or just bad luck in that game?
Oh, it's always a problem. So you never take that lightly, and you never consider any turnover a situation where that's just bad luck. I mean, I think we controlled both of those. On the one where we fumbled, ball shouldn't have been thrown as far out into the flat, and the receiver should have sat down. And then on the interception, Mike needs to do a better job reading that. With that said, we had an opportunity on defense, I think, to get a couple. We always talk about that, opportunity to change that. Hey, if the offense gives up 1, defense has got to get 3 or whatever it is. We go in, we want to protect the ball and we want to protect the field position. We lost both those battles really on the 2 offensive turnovers.
So this week against Florida Tech, I would assume that's something you certainly look at.
No, most definitely, have to. Every week that's got to be a topic of discussion for us.
Florida Tech's a tough team. What do you know about them?
Well, they're as good a team as there is in the conference. That's proof of how they've played early in the season, as well as what they did a year ago. They started about 3 years before us, 4 years before us, and were able to really put themselves in a great position to be a playoff team, and a great example of how building a program and what it looks like. Their quarterback's as good of a quarterback in the league right now. Their running back is as good a running back in the league right now. So they're talented. Got a couple of, they got a transfer wide receiver that has played very well for them. And so, I mean, we look at them with tremendous amount of respect.
And their offense seems to really be rolling after a couple of big wins against conference teams here lately.
Yeah, and not to be overshadowed is their defense,
right?
Because got a former Division I head coach as their defensive coordinator, Rick Minter. He knows how to call defense. He really does, and does a fantastic job of just changing up his looks, changing up his coverages. Really plays to people's weaknesses. We've got a test really on both sides of the ball in Florida Tech.
I remember last year you talked a lot about early in the season. Every week the test would get tougher. It seems to be kind of the same again this year. The difference is you're not surprising anybody. Obviously a big win against Florida Tech last year at home. They're not going to be caught off guard by anything this year.
They will not be caught off guard. We're going to get their best, and I'm not saying we didn't get their best last year and beat it, but we're going to get their best. They're going to be really focused. I think that loss, stung a little bit for them. They're going to be very well prepared. Their coaching staff does a great job. I mean, one of the more disciplined teams in the league. They play hard. They play extremely well. So, as we said, I mean, really, the first 5 weeks we didn't play Midwestern State. We just felt like it got better and better every week.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a tough team because they're so well balanced. So, how do you slow them down? I guess offensively,
you got to do something, and that's what Darian and our defensive staff are working on. Got to do something to take away the run and keep that. And then they're a really big play offense, and we saw that last year against us. We did a good job taking away some of their stuff and then hurting them, and then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, I mean, 80-yard touchdown, boom, 70-yard drive, boom. They kept hitting plays. We've got to do a great job of limiting that, obviously, and then keeping and containing their run game.
Your big play offense, we saw that certainly last week against Valdosta. We've seen it all season. The problem, it seemed like last week with the offense, was just finishing drives. This week, what do you do to combat that?
Well, we talked about that at Missouri S&T. Didn't feel like we finished some drives the way we needed to. We were handed great field position by our special teams and defense against Chowan. And then this week we got no field position. We really didn't do a great job on our kickoff return team. We've got to combat that by just being consistent on offense. Can't have any of those drops that affected some drives. Can't have the missed block here or there. We got to be dead on in what we're doing.